And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner. It's Wednesday the 23rd of March and running a little bit late for those that like to get it straight away in the morning. But the reason being we just had a Tectonic Gold webinar with the CEO, Brett Boynton, which I have to say I thought came across very positively. Clearly there's all sorts of hope, should we say, up in Queensland with a farming partner from one of the majors coming into their gold and copper resource. And then what they seem to be doing out in South Africa with the mineral sands really is either they've just completely lucked out or is an extraordinary skillful piece of work, but could be worth significantly more than the entire market cap many times over. What do you think, Ollie? You had a listen in.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. They've been a bit unlucky with hold-ups on drilling in Queensland, which is where the real catalysts are for value creation, I think, and obviously that has probably also slowed up a bit access for the majors that you mentioned who've pegged ground around them already and are actively looking on site. But those are the people they really need to give them the capital to drill out the large system they've identified.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's as a story, we've always been pretty keen on it. We like Brett Boynton a lot. He's been a bit unlucky with the weather and pandemics and everything else, but I mean, who hasn't had all of these headwinds coming along? But, you know, the stock has been as high as 2p. It's currently 1p. But I mean, you know, the way he talks, it can be a 10 bagger from 1p and we can go to 10p. So it's hang on in there. And also it looks like he's got quite a lot of catalysts that could move it in the next 3 months as well, which is good. But anyway, if you're interested in that and you'd like to see the webinar, then please give us a buzz. What else you got today, Ollie?
Well, Kenmare Resources full year results, and that's probably quite useful in this context as it gives the backdrop to mineral sands where prices have been rising very strongly, as we've talked about in relation to PICs. But these results are very strong and they've led, I think, most noticeably to a threefold increase in the full year dividend from 10 cents to 32 cents, which implies a yield of about 5%.
I think, as you say, the whole mineral sand space at the moment is absolutely booming, which is why, I mean, it's not just Tectonic, it's also Kazira. It's a sort of a partnership, isn't it? So, I mean, both those stocks really haven't moved at all, should actually be flying at the moment. But maybe they will after people hear what we've had to say.
Yeah, and Kenmare were able to do that on the back of a 30% increase in output year on year. And so that combined with higher prices led to about 90% increase in revenue to about $470 million. Unit costs in mineral sands are a bit difficult as they're very skewed by products. So the higher zircon and rutile prices would have made those look lower. The actual costs probably haven't changed very much, in honesty. But EBITDA was up strongly to $216 million. But a lot of mineral sands companies did increase their output last year by quite a chunky amount. But that was really because they held back production during 2020, expecting COVID to negatively impact the market for longer, and they were sort of wrong-footed. But now they've had this increase in capacity. They're running at full pelt, so there's not actually that much incremental output to come this year. So the market is pretty tight, and their guidance is for modest increases of 5% across their product range, which and there aren't really any major projects coming on, so that will keep the market tight.
Except for me when I start digging up the beach down at my house in Cornwall. I don't would count that as a major project. Don't worry. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about today?
It's actually a pretty quiet morning news-wise. I think we'll get a lot of full year results probably start of next week before March finishes. But there's not a huge amount else out there today.
Just as well I'm away next week then in the States doing business. Get away from it all. Very good. We'll keep it a short one and we'll get it posted out so we're not too late on the bulletin boards. Thanks, Ollie.
Cheers.